Hi, I'm Steve Pierce. Welcome to the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Pulaski Electric System. I'm here with Bobcat head coach David O'Connor. Coach, big ball game Friday night.
It was a wonderful game Friday night. You know, I think it would kind of just was the next step toward our goal, and I think we're making a little bit of gains or improvement each week.
37-0, the Bobcats come out on top of Lawrence County. Coach, let's start first of all on your defense.
Defensively, I thought we played amazing. Our defense is improving. It has every game this year, and I expect nothing less. You
know, Lawrence County never crossed the 50-yard line, Coach, with the starting defense.
Well, you know, again, that's what we expect out of our defense is to make them snap the ball a lot of times, because our goal is if they have to snap it 15 or 20 times to score, we're expecting them to make some type of mistake on the way and us to be able to stop them.
Let's break it down a little bit. Defensive linemen.
Defensive linemen played great. I felt like Darren May did a good job, you know, taking on the end there and the offensive tackles and shutting down his job was really to play all types of reverses and things. Will Harrison did a good job forcing the buck sweep stuff outside into our outside linebackers. You know, and Trey Beach did a wonderful job playing the trap. You know, if you play the wing T, you've got to stop the trap.
Yeah, we call Marcus Ray's name a lot too, fighting hard on the inside.
Marcus Ray was in a position last week that he could make a lot of plays.
Yeah. Your linebackers, they seem like they're just flying to the ball.
They are, and you know, we had a freshman, Boone Gibson, stepped in, played really well the other night, and the rest of those linebackers, they've been around, they've played a while. Zach Voss, Brandon Houston, Ben Bates did a wonderful job, and then the other newcomer, Chris Few, he's leading our team in tackles right now, and I'm wondering what could he have done if he'd played all 4 years.
Yeah. Also, the secondary, Lawrenceburg, not exactly a throwing ball club, but they did try to test you a few times. Got Troy Jenkins, the senior, over there, but the youngsters doing a good job.
Yeah, that's right. Dontarius Gilbert did a wonderful job at safety. As a matter of fact, I think last week our defensive scheme, our defensive coach decided to add a linebacker. So we played with really 5 linebackers last week instead of 4 against that wing T look and the formations that they gave us.
Coach, Lawrence County a little more athletic than Lincoln County. That's 2 weeks that we've had shutouts. The Bobcats have pitched shutouts for 2 straight weeks. 1 week against a team that had a lot of power and a lot of size, and then the next week against a more athletic ball club.
You know, athletic, I'm not so more athletic. I'm not so sure about that, Steve. I think that they weren't quite as good in the trenches, but maybe a little faster in the backfield. It was nip and tuck, really. I think scheme-wise, one was on wing T, but basically scheme-wise, they were still going to be 2 running attacks, and I think we did a really good job of stopping 2 teams that wouldn't mind probably going for it on 4th down running attacks.
You got a lot of playing time for some young players in on the defense.
We did get a good bit more playing time this past week. You know, the TSSAA's got what I think is the worst rule in football is that 35 mercy rule, 35-point mercy rule. Once you go up 35, and you know, I really don't feel comfortable with the game until we're up 35, and then we're up 35, and the mercy rule comes in, and it really puts you in a bind.
Yeah, it cuts down on the playing time available for those young kids.
So they don't get to get as much game experience as we'd like them to. And that's, you know, that brings up a point of, you know, that's why JV games and freshman games are so important, to get those guys game experience in the flow of a game.
Moving over to the offense, Al Cobb, another great ball game.
He played, I thought, a little better this game than he did the Lincoln County game. He is the most consistent offensive player we have at this point, and he's doing a wonderful job for us and distributing the ball to the people that need to have the ball.
What about your offensive line? Do you think they made some progress from week 1 to week 2?
There was some definite progress, but still so much inconsistency and just play to play and making good decisions on what technique we're going to use in certain situations, or what a blocking scheme we may call up front. We just still have too much inconsistency there to be a great football team yet.
Offense by committee, you know, Al Cobb spreading the ball around to 7 and 8 different receivers, and then you're rotating quite a few running backs in and out.
Yes, you know, that's our goal. We want them not to just defend one person, one play, or one spot on the field. We want them to make them have to defend everybody. and the entire field, sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone, and it becomes much tougher to defend a team when you make them do that.
People are still talking about impressed with the intensity of your special teams.
Our special teams are just wonderful. You know, Herbie Foster does a good job, first of all, by being able to kick so many in the end zone. He had 3 more touchbacks this week, and the 2 of the kicks that weren't touchbacks, we tackled the guy on the 16. So, I mean, when the other team has to go 80 or 84 yards to score, I feel really good that our defense is going to have a shot to stop them before they get there.
You talked a little bit earlier about getting playing time for kids. We had a great freshman and JV game at Sam Davis Park on Monday night.
Yeah, you know, the score didn't indicate it, but I felt like both teams come out and competed really hard. And the most important thing of those 2 games is not necessarily the score, but how much experience can we get those kids? Because you know, we're playing some kids that don't get as much playing time, and that they just need to work. And the only way you're going to get better at football is getting out there and gaining experience.
I'm really impressed with the crowd that traveled over to Lawrence County the other night. The Giles County stands were full.
Yeah, ours were full long before theirs, and I heard some rumor, I'm not sure if it's true, that, you know, they wouldn't let us they didn't want us to be sitting on their side of the field. And I had a couple people come up and told me after the game, says, "Coach, I couldn't believe that some of those officers over there told us we couldn't sit on their side." You know, but that's because that's a tribute to our guys or our fans, the 12th man, for being there and having the stands full and forcing us to have to go to the other side just to get a seat.
Yeah, you know, you talk to those kids, they can tell you, you know, they hear the people in the stands. Yes. They feed off of that.
Yes, they do, and that really brings more energy into them, and the more energy in them, the more they're going to play and dish out into the game.
Coach, East Hickman district play starts this week. They're coming into Sam Davis Stadium, Jack Deere Field.
Oh, when you open up district play, it's always, you know, something special, and our goal every year is to try to win District 12 AA, and to win District 12 AA, we got to win Friday night. East Hickman brings an attack that's a lot different than we faced the last couple of weeks as far as offensively. Yeah, offensively, East Hickman, Coach King does a really good job running what they call the system, the Tony Franklin offensive system. And anybody that keeps up with college football knows a little bit about that Tony Franklin system. It's a spread attack, and it's really, bottom line, it's long handoffs. They want to run a lot of bubble screens. They want to run a lot of draws and things of that nature. Most passes are not deep down the field, but they're left and right. And you know, that's something that we're going to have to defend, and it's something we have to put a lot of time in all week to get ready to play perimeter defense. Yeah, you know, we faced a couple of teams that's been really, really physical running the ball. Now it becomes more of a mental issue. Oh, and I wouldn't say more mental. I'd say it's going to expose some weakness we may have in playing in open space. You know, being able to tackle in the open field and things of that nature. If there's weaknesses in your game, it really shows in the open field more than it does in a little cooped up box when you're playing that against Lincoln County and against Lawrence County. So, you know, and Coach King, man, he's what a job he's done there at East Hickman. You know, they're 2-0. It was a brand new school just a few years ago, and he's almost drawn up a blueprint of how you bring a school from nothing up to this point, you know, and I think he's done a wonderful job with that. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement going over in East Hickman. Quarterback, what does their quarterback look like? He's a solid quarterback. You know, he threw probably for just about as many yards as anybody in our district did last year, and he'll probably do the same thing this year. They are going to throw the football, and you're going to have to defend it. Personnel-wise, how do you think we match up in the trenches? It's going to be close. I mean, they have, unlike in years past, I feel like they have good, solid, high school-looking bodies. You know, and it hadn't been that way the last few years. You know, there's a lot of things happening this week. You've got the Giles County homecoming. Oh, homecoming weeks, it's always big to get homecoming under your belt. And the most important part of homecoming, we tell our kids, is for the student body to enjoy homecoming and us to get ready to win a football game. Taking off that, how's practice been so far? It's been pretty solid practices. You know, there's always, as coaches, we never think it's good enough. You know, and you always see things, man, we got to get better at this, we got to get better at that. But overall, our kids have a pretty good focus at this point, and I think because of our good senior leadership, we're going to be fine.
You know, there's another factor too. What's left of Isaac, the hurricane tropical storm that's moving in. You know, how do you think that could play into effect?
Well, you know, that could be an equalizer. I've heard that anytime it rains or you have that type of weather, that it makes two teams that are less even more even. I'm not sure if it would in this circumstance, for sure not, because we're similar offensively. We both like to spread the field, do a bunch of different things. Hopefully it won't have too big of an effect.
You know, there's
You know, and Steve, there has been some talk that, you know, we possibly, when that thing's going to roll in and we get a better timetable later in the week, that we may end up having to move the game to Thursday. I hope not, and for our homecoming things not. But if it comes down to having to stand out in an entire game with just torrential downpours, I'd much rather move that game to Thursday.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of speculation now as the path. It looks like it's been going west. Hopefully it'll keep tracking west and stay away from us.
Well, that's what Mr. Carden told me earlier, just before I left school. He says, Coach, it looks like we're probably going to have a good chance of just missing this entirely, and hopefully that's how things are going to work out.
All right, Friday night, a big week, a lot of excitement. The Bobcats win if
we take care of the football, we tackle well in the open field defensively, and we don't give up big plays.
A lot of excitement. We need that 12th man for this ball game.
Oh, no doubt. No, the 12th man is really what pushes us over the edge. When our kids get a little tired, they hear that roar in the stands after a big play, and that energy builds.
But this has been another edition of the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Pulaski Electric System. We appreciate you tuning in and hope to see everyone at Sam Davis Park Friday night as the Bobcats take on East Hickman in a district match.